So today I'm here in the garage to work on the Saab for something that I was hoping I wouldn't have to do. A couple days ago I was heading over to my parents' house and my check engine light came on. Luckily the car drove perfectly fine, so I got over here, we read the code, and it turns out it is the code P0101, which is for the mass airflow sensor. So when I initially saw the check engine light, I noticed that the car was driving perfectly fine, so my initial thought was maybe it's just a bad coil pack again with the tune, or maybe a hose busted or a hose came off, because the Arizona heat tends to do that a lot. So when the check engine light first came on, the car was driving perfectly fine, so I assumed it wasn't something major, which it wasn't, so that's good. So today we're just going to be addressing that issue. We're going to take off the air box, clean out the mass airflow sensor, clean that entire piping out, and just clean everything out, because obviously that's the issue. So hopefully that'll fix it up and I won't have to buy anything new. So let's go ahead, start by taking off the air box and see what we're looking at here. Okay, so now we've got all the screws off and we can take the air box out. For those of you who don't know, this is the mass airflow sensor right here. So we're just going to go ahead and disconnect this, and we can take this whole compartment off. Got the K&N filter right here. And I'm actually thinking that the K&N filter is what caused this, because the K&N filter is a lot less restrictive than the stock air filter. So that's what I'm thinking, that could potentially be the culprit, and it might not have been faulty at all. It might just be messing with the ECU, and stuff may have gotten through that the engine didn't like and the ECU didn't like, so it threw a check engine light for that. So that might be the issue. But we're gonna go ahead and take a look inside all these pipes here, make sure there's no holes anywhere, and just see how this turns out. So let's go ahead and clean the mass airflow sensor now. So I can't really get too much farther down in here without taking more of this off, which honestly I don't think I really need to, because I mean there's only a little bit more of piping left before you got the turbo and then obviously the engine. So I am just going to put everything back on, make sure it's all nice and clean, because I mean this is the paper towel I use to clean it, and pretty much all the dirt on here is from my hands from touching other stuff on the engine. So I'm just going to go ahead and assemble everything back together and see what happens. Okay, so I've got everything hooked back up, so I'm going to start up the car, drive it around probably 10 or 15 minutes and see if anything changes. Maybe the check engine light will turn off, but I'm not too sure. I don't really think it will, because like I said, there's barely any debris or anything on the intake to begin with. So I think the culprit is going to end up being the K&N filter, but we'll drive it around and see what happens. Okay guys, so I just got home. The drive did absolutely nothing. Check engine light's still on. I drove it around for maybe about 15 minutes. And I also want to tell you about something else gorgeous that decided to happen while I was on my drive. So about halfway through, a little notification pops up and tells me my left low beam has failed. So I have no low beam now, and that is the third time in just over a year of ownership that one of my headlights has failed. And then another issue that I've been having for the last couple of weeks that is really bothering me is one of my brake lights is out. So if you look back here, you obviously have the one at the top, which is still good, and then you have two lights over here and two lights over here. As you can see, this bulb is out. So that will be an easy fix. I'll just go to a scrapyard, or the bulb online is literally $2. So that'll be an easy fix. I'm not gonna put either of these repairs in this video. I will also clear the code here and see if it comes back. If it does, I think I'll either just let it go, because I mean, honestly, it's not causing any harm to the car. I think it's just the K&N filter, because there is no holes in the hoses or anything. Nothing is letting bad air into the car or debris into the engine, so I don't really have any issue. I think the ECU just doesn't like the K&N filter, which is strange because I've had it for like 2 or 3 months now, and this is the first time that I've had an issue. So with that being said, that's going to end this video. I will update you guys either in the pinned comment or in the description as to what's going on if the check engine light came back. Now, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Where do I go?